It's a great day in SimWorld, everybody. Good morning and welcome to SimWorld today. See, I thought you were gonna do the intro for me this morning, man.
All right, it looked like I was supposed to.
Hey, look, it's all right, man. It's all right. We're here. We're here. It's good to have you, CJ, with me here to start the week off, man. Let's go ahead and let's jump right into things, shall we? With the biggest news of the day coming late last night. Steelers Nation. That's right, man. Because Russell Wilson is joining the Steelers, signed a 1-year deal with them worth what $1.2 million. And he'll be in that QB room with Kenny Pickett. The Broncos will be paying 37 and some million of that salary, around 38 million dollars. But I want to know, in your opinion, Siege, how does this affect their QB situation again, with Kenny Pickett being the only one on the roster at that point in time because of Rudolph going free agency. Russell Wilson is now coming in and potentially competing for that starting quarterback role. How does that go?
Oh, I think sure you can call it competing. I'm pretty sure Russ will probably win it to start the year at the very least. If nothing else, it'll put a lot more pressure on Kenny Pickett to improve, to compete. I think that competition itself could maybe unlock what they thought Kenny Pickett could potentially be coming into his career that he hasn't necessarily been yet. And look, you could blame it a lot on the offensive coordinator for most of last year. The game he played without that offensive coordinator, he looked pretty good. But at the end of the day, we can say what we want about Russ, make fun of Russ, but sometimes you just got to let him cook. Um, because people forget he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's very good. He can play the game. Um, my concern more comes around the Steelers' offensive line than anything. They've got weapons. Um, got people from to throw the ball to. So I think this is great for Russ. Go to another team, keep getting paid. I think it could be good for Kenny Pickett if he takes it with the right mentality of competition and wanting to improve. Because now he's got to compete with a veteran quarterback who has proven himself in this league. Even though the last few years maybe he's not been the same, but all in all, I think the Steelers made a good choice bringing him in.
Yeah, competition definitely can uh test your metal, so to speak. You know what I mean? It can either make you better or make you resentful, depending on, like you said, how you handle it. If Pickett goes into it with the right attitude, I think he'll be okay. But you mentioned Russell and his accolades, that kind of stuff. Yeah, he's proven he can do this thing. He's in his 10 years in Seattle, he made 9 Pro Bowls and he won a Super Bowl back in 2014. He was a third round pick back in 2012. And in his career, he's thrown for 43,000 yards and 300 plus touchdowns. So I mean, yeah, the guy has done it at a high level for a long time, and I think that in a situation like this, where he comes in, and he potentially gets that starting job from day one, um, it'll be a thing for Pickett where he has to go and reevaluate his skills and say, like, hey, what can I do to get better? What can I learn from Russell Wilson? You can look at it that way too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one thing you can definitely learn is how to throw the deep ball. Russ is one of the better quarterbacks I've seen in my lifetime at throwing that deep ball, getting the air under the ball, and kind of hitting right where it's supposed to. So again, worst comes to worst for Kenny Pickett. If you can take it with grace, maybe even start off the year not starting, but sit behind a veteran quarterback and learn. It is later in his career, but look, we've seen it proven that there is something to be said for having your young quarterback coming in sit behind a veteran and learn for a year. I
Hmm.
mean, the Packers did it twice, and it's worked out well for them both times. Jordan Love is looking really good after sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for a
Yeah.
couple of years. We've seen it in a couple other scenarios. And yeah, this isn't Kenny Pickett's first year, so it's a little bit different, but the numbers are there, the science is there. They're giving a young guy a year to sit behind someone who is a proven talent. Actually ends up working out better for them. So maybe that's what's going on here. It's either that or the competition aspect, or it's for the Steelers to put butts in seats and sell tickets. As much of a joke as Russell Wilson's become sometimes, he's still going to sell some tickets. So yeah, one of the three, but I'm hoping it's best off for Kenny Pickett because I like Kenny Pickett. I like his game, and I do want to see him succeed. So
And it's really funny because I think it was a week or so ago where me and Rick Blaze were talking about how the GM Omar Khan had said he had full faith in Kenny Pickett, and then to go and make this kind of decision, I don't know if that diminishes that comment in any regard, because I feel like again bringing in a guy like Russell Wilson, I think I th I think that I think that that is a good move to bring in a better like Wilson to, again, be a mentor to Pickett, because 'cause I'm sure that's gonna happen in some regards too. So I don't think that diminishes that comment. What about you?
I don't know if diminish is the right word. I think what it does do is kind of, to me, it says like, yeah, that's obviously what you say when you don't know if you can get another quarterback, and you're thinking in your
Mhm.
head you're gonna have to roll with this young guy whose confidence may be hurt. You're gonna tell him you have full faith in him, but also if there's a chance to go grab a veteran quarterback who's proven, you're gonna do it. So while I don't think it diminishes him having full faith, it may diminish the idea that he's the for sure starter and he's their guy. I don't know. I don't know that I would trust that he's their guy if they're
Yeah.
gonna go out and grab Russell Wilson. So
Yeah, I think they're telegraphing their next move a little bit. Well, look, let's move on ourselves, shall we? More trouble for the Sea Wolves. Rudy Gobert this time is the on the receiving end of it, because he was fined $100,000 for
oh yeah,
making a money gesture at the referee during their recent game here. And what are your thoughts on that whole thing in general? Because like you could say that it was it was a dumb move on Gobert's part, but I want to get your initial thoughts before we dive into things a little bit more here. Start there.
well, I mean, it was confusing to me. I honestly, I'm not really sure what Gobert was doing. I'm not really ever sure what Rudy Gobert is doing. The only thing I can think is he's making the money gesture, like the refs getting paid more money to make these kind of calls or something like that. Is immediately what came to my mind. Maybe there's something simpler that I'm missing. Um, let's say that is what he's doing. I'm not really sure why you go and do that when you know that an entertainment league, a sports league like the SWBA, they don't want that being done, whether it's as a rumor, whether it's as an uncovering of a giant conspiracy, whatever it is, you don't do the
Mhm.
money sign to a ref. Um, I personally don't think it's that big of a deal. I really don't. I think players should be allowed to do little hand gestures as long as they're not like flicking off the cameras or like kids in the crowd or something. I don't think it's that big of a deal. In fact, I actually think them fining him makes it look like a bigger deal. Otherwise, you could just be like, "Oh, he's just doing the money thing," like, "Oh, I'm just trying to get paid," or like something like that. So,
Yeah.
to me, I think it's silly on Rudy's part. I think it's a little silly on the SWBA's part. Um, I don't think this is as deep as it's been made out to be.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because Gobert, he's been known for being outspoken. But he in his post game comments, he had mentioned that he he's not happy with how sports betting has impacted the game, and that kind of, he was quoted as saying, I'll bite the bullet again. I'll be the bad guy. I'll take the fall. I'll take the fine. But I think it's hurting the game, and all of that is becoming bigger and bigger, and it shouldn't feel that way. So in doing the hand gesture, I think that's kind of what he was insinuating with the referee, who was Scott Foster, on that would be in on it, so to speak. So yeah, I don't. Do you think it was the right call to find him and find him that much?
I don't think it. I don't think it was the wrong call. I don't think it was the right. I guess if I got to take a side, I think it's the wrong call. I don't think it's that deep. He just did a little hand sign. He didn't go yelling at the ref. He didn't go publicly saying, they're paying the ref for this. It's all Vegas, like anything like that. He just made a little
Mhm.
hand gesture. To be honest, again, I think they probably called more attention to it by fining him for it because now you got everyone talking about it. We're sitting here talking about it. If he didn't get fined for that hand gesture and nothing happened, a lot of people probably wouldn't have noticed, and a lot of people wouldn't be talking about it like this. But on the topic of sports betting becoming a bigger influence in sports, it's kind of look, you're on. We're all adults here. It's always been about the money. It's always going to be about the money. The SWBA, the SWFL, yes, they're competitive sports leagues. And no, I'm not someone who believes that all the games are fixed or anything like that. But that
Yeah, I'm
being
not at
said,
I'm not in that camp either.
it's always been about the money. It's always been about the money. Sports bet is about the money. Leagues are about pulling in money. It that's what it's about. So no, I think they drew more attention than needed when they fined Rudy Gobert for this. To be honest, I don't know if I would have even known he did that if he hadn't got fined. I was not watching the Cavs Timberwolves last night. So I think they made a bigger deal out of it than they needed to.
I also don't think it's that big a deal. But I don't think they should have fined him that much. If they were gonna fine him, I don't think that much is you know, the right amount to do. Maybe half of that. But what's $100,000 to these guys, right? At the end of the day,
Nothing.
um, nothing, right? Nothing. But you know what, man? Let's end on some more controversy. It's been a controversy city today, man. I swear. So look, SimWorld Prep. SimWorld Atlantis played the Bay Area Breakers over on Saturday, and it was a good game. It's a really good game. Unfortunately, there was controversy in that one too. Bay Area was not happy with the amount of calls that didn't go their way in the loss. It was a 70-66 loss that they took. Um, but Atlantis continues to roll and continue to look really good lately. Their last 5, 6 games here. And I would say this was an upset in my opinion, because we know how good Bay Area uh is and can be in that Neo region. But does this say more about Simord Atlantis that they won, that it's a big deal for them, or more about Bay Area in the fact that they lost their composure and had multiple turnovers back to back, when it came to essentially trying to protest and play under protest in that game with the calls not going away, and I've been having them about that.
I think it just to answer the question right off. I think it says more for Bay Area. Bjorn, I was on call for this game actually, and it was a really weird thing to see. Not just with the turnovers back to back that Bay Area was doing, reportedly out of protest, but they seemed a little out of whack for a lot of the game. Trey Hyman didn't really have it going like he normally does. The offensive scheme seemed weird from them. The defensive scheme, they just seemed out of whack. I don't know if they were jet lagged or what was going on.
Mhm.
But to be honest, I think it says more about Bay Area. Atlantis, I'm going to be real. I know you said you kind of consider an upset. I don't know if I do. I think these two teams are on similar footing, and the way that they played the game, I don't really believe that Atlantis saw this as a statement game or they were the underdog kind of game. It looked to me like they just went out there and played their game. So I don't think they took this as, oh, what a great win for us. I think they said we're going to go out there, handle our business like they always do, and they did that.
Yeah, I hear you. Look, I I I think that in terms of who this is more about, I think it's for me personally, it says more about similar Atlanta and especially these international teams because I've been hard on them for the first half of the season, and so far this like I had to do some math, but second half of the season they've looked much better than the first half of the season, so I am very happy about that. I do like them going out there and not letting the other side of it, not letting Bay Area's, antics affect them and they continue to play their game. So for me, I think it says more to me about them and more about their coaching staff and what they have going over there. Because I'm sure when Coach Kusa saw that, he was like, all right, let's get my kids to not feed into that and just continue to do what we're doing. And we'll see what we can do. And they got out there with the win. And just like that, we are out of time too. We're going to get out of here. Thank you for joining us here on SimWorld today. We appreciate you as always. Remember, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, notify bells to know when all of our shows, streams, and games go live for you all. And until tomorrow, you guys, remember, SimWorld is the only place where you can see the game, be the game. We'll see you tomorrow.